to pull him out. And Josh, I was asking you, do we get those in Oregon? And you said, oh yes, yes, we get a lot of them, which is crazy. I've never seen one of those. I don't think I've seen one of those.
Yeah, so they won't happen typically in like urban areas, but once the farmers start to cut a lot of the grasses, that's when everything starts to dry out.
Well, that little leaguer, I'm glad he's okay. That looked pretty nuts.
Well, if you've ever been hit by, sand blowing up and hitting you, that's exactly what it feels like. But the science behind a dust devil, it all comes down to the heat of the sun. And we typically see them anywhere from August to September. But the heat, as the air starts to rise, it creates a very small low pressure system near the surface. And that's able to grab all of that dust and debris and start to bring it aloft into the air. But if it moves over just slightly cooler conditions, which I expect that dust devil did as it moved over the grassy spots, then it quickly kills that miniature low pressure system. And we're talking about this being micro scale meteorology. But as far as the dust devil potential goes today across the Pacific Northwest, likely on the lower end of things, thanks to our very rainy start to the spring season. But as we dry things out, that potential will start to increase as we currently hold steady at about 76 degrees, expecting to get back up into the 80s by the afternoon hours. And we've got plenty of sunshine on the docket for us as we move into the afternoon. With a live look at our satellite and radar showing those calm, quiet, clear, and sunny conditions, you'll notice just a few of these little blips. If anything, that might just be the radar picking up on some of the trees blowing in the breeze, if not even some bugs or even birds, as we've likely switched over to the clear air mode, which just basically slows down our radar so we're able to pick up the fine details of what's moving in our atmosphere. As the current air quality holds steady at the good level up and down the I-5 corridor, despite maybe looking along the horizon, seeing a bit of that haze starting to develop. And that's what we've seen over the past day or so as wildfire smoke continues to hang well above our heads. And as we put this into motion, seeing some fires burning out towards the western sections of Montana, that has the potential to move into parts of the Pacific Northwest, and also seeing some hot spots out towards Coos County. But the biggest culprit is the massive wildfires burning just to the north. Hopefully not foreshadowing of what's to come for our wildfire season, thanks to the abundance in the wet weather we've seen over the past several months. But our fire weather danger today on the lower end of things, that's where we'd like to see it, is just the heat that's really starting to dry out and produce some of those drier fuels over the high terrain. Our forecasted high today, though, out at PDX, expecting to get up to about 89 degrees. Not breaking a record. The old record currently holds steady at 95, last set back in the year 2008. But we are expecting a bit of a cool down. So for those of you who like the mild temperatures, you've got good news over the next 6 to 10 days as near normal temperatures once again return to the I-5 corridor. But the further east you go, that's where the above average temperatures are still expected. We've been keeping a close eye on those 90+ degree days, though, already four in the bank for PDX. Our average for the entirety of the summer months is 13 days. Folks, we're not even into summer just yet, still holding on to that early spring heat. All thanks to this ridge of high pressure that continues to build over the western half of the country, but this cooler pocket of air eventually starting to slide its way back into western Oregon and Washington, and that will be our cooling mechanism just in time for the weekend and the start of next week. But we do have the potential for just a few little bubble-up thunderstorms over the high terrain at the Cascades. That's going to be a trend we hold on to here over the next several days. So if you've got those hiking plans, be sure to do that earlier in the day. The marine layer, though, it finds its way back along the Oregon and Washington shoreline as we get into Thursday morning, and that could potentially even push its way as far east as the Willamette Valley for the start of the day on Friday, giving us just a bit of patchy fog, but that will quickly transition back into that sunshine as our temperatures slowly start to cool off over the coming days. 63, though, by sunrise tomorrow with mostly clear skies. We'll continue that sunshine trend at least through Saturday. Nice days ahead for us as we slowly start to cool things back into the 80s. To put it into perspective, we should be hovering at about 70 degrees for this time of year, so still well above average. We get closer to normal, though, for Monday and Tuesday, as those rain potentials start to increase.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I hadn't looked at some of our plants in a couple days. Yeah. And then I looked at them and it was like that movie with the big, what is it, Seymour?
Oh, yes.
The plant that eats the guy? Yes, yeah. Like our plants just exploded. Little Shop of Horrors, our producer Alex coming in right there. All right, we'll be right back with more news and a final check on that forecast.